Somebody knows too much. And whoever it is probably starts the day a lot earlier than this.
Am I complaining?
Yes, all the way over here. I told you to stay in bed.
I can't sleep once I'm up. I just thought maybe we could talk about the Shapiro case in the car.
You don't need me on the Shapiro case, Julia. It's a straight partnership.
Yeah. Funny, I thought that's the way our law practice is supposed to be.
I'm not running out on you, for God's sake. This is a red alert for an entire corporation. Who needs me more, Capital Enterprises or a couple of guys who are about to enter into the wonderful world of retail auto parts?
Shapiro isn't our only chore, Mason. It's just the one we put off the longest. We still have depositions to take with Canfield and Browning, and if we postpone the Walker case one more minute, they're not going to be happy
about it. Good. Let's hire a paralegal until we get out from under some of this.
Mighty attitude, Mason. If I walk in there with some nervous assistant and they expect to see you and I, they're not going to like that very much.
My hands are tied right now. What do you want me to do, Julia?
All right, how about 50-50? Okay, 40-60? How about mornings? Just mornings. That way, if the Moth Capital Enterprises gobbles up the rest of the day, well, there's nothing I can do about it. That's fair, huh? I'm being fair. What do you say?
Julia, I don't have time for fairness now. Will you try to understand that? We're way past preliminaries now. The only thing that's going to save us is if I can figure out who's been feeding us to Robert Barr and little tiny bits and pieces. Until I do that, I don't have time for anything else.
What's new in the world of finance?
I'm going to have to go back to school.
Why?
All this terminology absolutely blinds me. Everything about indicators and buybacks and supermajority provisions. What does this mean?
Why do you care?
Well, because part of this book I'm writing is supposed to be about how you amassed this famous personal fortune of yours. I can't just be saying the stock started out at $1 a share and now it's at 22.
What are you talking about, $1 a share? It started at 93 cents a share.
You see, I can't even appreciate the subtleties.
Well, you're trying. Why are you so involved in Dow Jones all of a sudden?
Well, I'm just trying to get a fix on some of the basics.
Oh. Then you must have some idea why the price has risen on our stock in the last few days.
No, I don't.
Oh. Well, the recent transactions in Tokyo. Things we picked up.
So is that what Mason was doing when he was over in Japan?
How did you know about that?
You told me. You called over at his office one afternoon and his secretary told you that's where he was. I remember it stuck in my head because you seemed so surprised that he hadn't mentioned such a major trip. Don't you remember?
Yes, darling, I do. You still planning to go away this afternoon?
Yes, later on. That's why I was hoping we could get some work done in the book this morning.
I've got a meeting over at Mason's office. I don't know when I'll be back. I don't know how long it'll take.
Well, maybe we can still get it in. I don't have to leave before 2.
You're still not going to tell me what your destination is?
Not a chance. I don't want to be surprised by any of your sneaky visits.
I'm not going to go after you. I just want to make sure you're okay where you are.
And I need to know that there's a part of my life that belongs only to me.
This time of night? How the hell, I don't know.
Laura and Ethan aren't in right now, but if you'd like to leave a message, please do so.
Yeah. I thought when you got to be DA, they let you go home once in a while.
Yeah, well, I was just here seeing if anything broke on the Mitchell case. You know those 2 guys we put on the tail of Donnelly, have they called in yet?
You didn't hear what happened out at the beach?
No, I've been cooped up in here all night.
Yeah, some clown decided to stage his own fireworks show out at in a parking lot. Something backfired, hit a gas can in a pickup, boom. Rocket's red glare, just like that.
My God. Was anyone hurt?
No fatalities, but plenty of injuries and pure chaos. Now, Jensen and Mallory were in the area, so they were called in to assist, which means they lost track of Donnelly, at least temporarily.
Was Donnelly in the vicinity?
His car was in the parking lot. I should check to see if he was one of the hurt.
Oh, my God, Laura.
Was your wife at the beach last night?
Oh, no, I don't know. I just called home, and I'd called last night, and she wasn't there.
Well, I'm sure you would have been notified if she had been admitted to any hospital.
Yes, probably. And there's absolutely no reason to assume she would have been anywhere near the beach last night. Would you do me a favor? When you put a tail back on Michael Donnelly, would you put one on my wife also?
Sure.
What time is it?
A little before 7.
Why didn't you wake me up? The parking lot's probably been clear for hours by now.
No, they only just now took down the barricades. Besides, I've never seen anyone as exhausted as you.
I've been asleep the last couple of days. You okay?
Yeah, I've been better. But at least I'm wide awake.
Oh, what's Ethan gonna say? You've been out all night? Did you ever get to a phone?
I know the one at the beach bar was out of order.
You better get home before he calls out the National Guard.
He probably just assumed I was with you. He'd be right.
You were with me, but you weren't with me. You have to tell him about the explosion.
I have to tell him a lot more than that. It's time, Michael. He's got to know that I knew you before. He has to know about Jamie and all of it. He's got to know about all of it. It's the only way he'll ever understand.
DA says to dismantle this place, board by board, if we have to. Breakfast is over. We've got sand to sift through. Morning, Michael. Well, I guess we don't have to ask what your men are doing here. Hoping to turn up a murder weapon.
Like the gun I used at the target range.
I guess so. Unless you can tell us what happened to it.
I just came for a cup of coffee.
Hold on for a minute. How's your car?
My car?
Heard there was some trouble in the parking lot. Any damage?
You and Mr. Asher are keeping pretty close tabs on me, aren't you, Lieutenant?
We feel an informed police department is a good police department.
Michael, where have you been?
I got trapped in the lot out front. Didn't you hear about the guy with the fireworks?
No, the only thing I heard about was you being arrested. Why didn't you call me?
Well, I wasn't arrested. I was just brought in for questions.
Oh, what, and you didn't think it was something that you should mention to me?
What? I didn't want to worry you. You're pregnant, and I figured it was going to only take a couple hours.
Michael, come on, I don't care. You shouldn't have been subjected to that in the first place. Honestly, how can Ethan Asher think that you could be capable of killing someone?
Yeah, well, he still thinks I am. I'm his #1 suspect.
I don't like how this makes me feel, and I wish the hell Eden didn't put a bug in my head.
We have to suspect anybody who had access to Capwell Enterprises files, and Megan did, didn't she? The files in your study?
Yeah, the part of the book that deals with business is just one chapter. She does it with broad strokes. I don't even think she's seen a file, certainly not a sensitive one.
What about the computer?
What about it?
Did you ever give her a password for research purposes?
The woman still uses legal pads. She hires somebody to type up her drafts. I don't think she can turn on a computer.
Or so she wants you to think.
Oh, you're ridiculous. What would prompt her to become a spy?
Well, let's run through some of the usual motives. I suppose we can rule money out, since she could get plenty of that by marrying you. But then being married to a Capwell isn't that easy. Maybe she figured it would be less arduous working for Robert Barr.
She doesn't need money. She's rolling in royalties.
Well, then, much as I hate to bring it up, maybe we should look at the second motive.
Like what?
Revenge?
Oh, knock it off.
Now, think about it, Dad.
Please.
She's been all sweetness and light since she came here, but maybe that's just a smokescreen. Maybe she's covering up a deep hatred she's had for you ever since you used her in her innocent youth. Big businessman comes to Europe, has a casual affair with a 17-year-old girl and leaves her pregnant.
Will you knock it off? She did not tell me. How could she spend all these years blaming me if I didn't know?
Some people are more capable of holding a grudge than others.
Oh, Mason, good Lord, you've seen her. You like Megan. You've admitted to like you. Why are you running so scared that you start a witch hunt?
Okay, fine. Megan's above reproach, and your faith in her is unshakable. Have I got that right?
Well, she certainly hasn't given me any reason to doubt her, yes.
Then maybe some sort of formal apology is in order. Should I ask the two of you out to dinner?
I appreciate that, but it's not necessary.
No, seriously. It would help me smooth things over with Julia, too, if we made it a foursome.
She's not going to be around. She's going away this afternoon.
Oh? Where?
I don't know. She wouldn't say.
So when are you taking off?
Well, not till later this afternoon. You're not going to give me a third degree about this, too, are you?
You always do this when you get stalled on a project.
Well, it's the only way I know to shake myself up and get back on track. I've got to be somewhere where there are no phones and no distractions, and nobody knows who I am.
Don't stay away too long, okay?
I won't. Why?
Oh, still need an ally sometimes.
Against who?
It's not worth getting into. Go, you must have things to do before you leave.
Greg, this is your mother speaking.
Something happened with Mason and Ted yesterday, but I can handle it. Don't worry about it.
I thought you were getting along pretty well with Mason.
So did I. But, Mason seems to be as suspicious of me as Ted is.
Suspicious?
That I'm not Cece's real son.
Did he say that?
Oh, yes, yeah. I knew I shouldn't have told you.
I'm sorry, but I have had it. I'm telling you, the idea that I am so in love with the Capwell name that I can't wait to palm you off like so much loose change. I tell you, it is so bloody arrogant.
It's like they think we're working together at this. Then they try to trip me up into admitting my real
Come on,
past.
we're going to go over to Mason's office.
No, not today. I've already had a bellyful. I don't feel like another confrontation with
Well,
these
maybe
people.
I do.
Then you go.
You know what somebody just said? I need an ally. Please stay.
You have anything to say for yourself?
I think I have some explaining to do, yes.
Well, I just thought I'd take a shower. I feel a little grubby spending all night in the office.
You at work all night?
Yes. I hope you weren't too, worried about me, spending all night here alone.
No, I pretty much figured that you were working. I just wish you would have called.
Right.
Laura, it's me. It's about 10 o'clock. Did you say you were going out tonight? I'll give you a ring later. If you get this, when you get back, call the office. I'll be waiting. Laura, if you're there, please pick up. I want to know you're okay. I want to know where the hell you are. Laura, for God's sake, if you're there.
I was with Michael. I went to the beach to watch the fireworks, and we bumped into each other there. Neither one of us could get home last night.
Yeah, I
because
read the
there was
police report.
But you don't believe me.
Why should I? I mean, you'd be very content if I believed that you were home all night knitting me a sweater.
I'm sorry. It was a reflex. I saw a way out, and I went for it. That's sort of what I did when I met you. You were my way out.
Of what?
The grief.
The pain of having lost my son.
Your son?
It was when I was pregnant with him that I first met Michael. It was just a friendship at first. He thought I was brave to want to have a baby by myself, and he was very supportive.
And, so he took classes with you, held your hand in the delivery room, that sort of thing?
Yes, he did that.
Yeah.
It was just a friendship at first, though. It wasn't until after I had the baby that things started to change.
You fell in love?
It was a long time ago, Ethan.
Go on.
Well, you already know that Michael killed Leo Mitchell's brother in a drug raid. But what you don't know is that Leo kidnapped my child in retaliation. And Michael followed them and trapped Leo in a warehouse. And Michael saw the shadow of a gun on the wall, and he thought it was Leo, and he fired. But it was a toy gun.
And that's when it ended, when Michael killed Jamie?
What did you say?
It was over when he pulled the trigger.
No. How did you know?
What?
You said Jamie. How did you know my boy's name?
Hi, baby. I got a phone call. What is this?
Well, it's certainly not a violin.
Sweetheart, this is beautiful.
You like it?
It's gorgeous.
Well, I was just trying to think of a really perfect housewarming gift for you, and I thought, well, a piano is a nice way to warm up a house, so why don't you play something for me?
Thank you. It's incredible. But I don't understand. Why did you do this?
Probably, I don't know, because I'm madly in love with you, and I wanted you to have something beautiful in our home. What's wrong? You seem like you're distracted.
No, it's just I got this really weird letter.
What is this? They want you to transfer to another hospital for the rest of your residency?
Keep reading.
New York City, wow.
It's affiliated with Cornell, possibly one of the most sought-after surgical residencies in the country.
That is fantastic. Well, you should be jumping up and down right now, my God.
It's also 3,000 miles away.
So, have you ever been to New York City before? I've been a couple of times. It's incredible. I mean, it's insane and exciting and stimulating. It's the kind of place you would just eat up, Scott. You'd love it.
But have you forgotten that my baby is going to be here?
Well, your residency won't last forever, Scott.
But I don't think that if I'm living on another coast, it's going to boost my chances at this custody suit.
Okay, I understand that, but if these doctors that you're working with are asking you to go, that's a tremendous compliment on their part. Don't you think that would be kind of offensive to them if you turned it down?
That's why I got to make a few phone calls. I got to know exactly where this idea is coming from.
I don't understand, Mason. Why not just call me a liar to my face?
Just what did you say to Greg?
Oh, he was clever enough about it, but the message was unmistakable. My mother's word isn't good enough. You want proof, and so does the rest of your family.
Even you, СиСи?
Megan, there's never been any doubt in my mind.
Then why were you acting so strangely this morning back at the house? I mentioned Meyson being in Tokyo, and you jumped a mile. I felt like you were dissecting my every word.
It didn't have anything to do with Greg.
What's this about Tokyo?
Wait a minute, now you're doing it. What is going on? What am I being accused of here?
Nothing. We're, just a little paranoid lately, Megan. You see, there's been a leak at Capwell Enterprises. Somebody's been passing information to hostile forces.
I don't believe this. You think my mother's a spy along with everything else?
Of course not.
On the other hand, we have to be very careful about anyone who's had access to company records.
Oh, fine. I've heard enough.
Megan, it's all come about because of your connection with Robert Barr.
What connection? I interviewed him once about a possible book because my publisher insisted. We spent, I don't know, 30 minutes together, if that, because I couldn't wait to get out of there. The man is loathsome, and so are your insinuations.
Meg! Mason, I don't know how much time I have got in my life, but I was hell-bent on making it memorable. I think my last chance just went out the door.
She's just upset.
You blame her? We've accused her of everything except first-degree murder.
I think it's pretty clear the accusations weren't coming from you, Dan.
No, I just stood there and let them spill over the floor and didn't do anything to stop you. That was even worse.
Yes, I knew.
For how long?
A couple of weeks ever since I started getting into the Leo Mitchell case. It was all there in a dozen back issues of newspapers.
You didn't say anything?
I didn't say anything? How long have we been married and you haven't mentioned a damn word of this to me?
It's different.
How?
I was trying to bury it for myself, Ethan. If I didn't talk about it, if I didn't even tell my husband about it, the memory of Jamie would cease to exist, and I wouldn't have to spend time in a hospital somewhere staring at a wall.
Well, did you think maybe when I wanted to talk to you about having children and you would do 100 different things to try and change the subject, that maybe that would have been the time to tell me?
Sometimes, yes. But I just pushed that thought down as hard as I could. How can I explain to you that it wasn't directed against you? I was just trying to save my own life.
Well, I guess it's... Then Michael came back into your life and he had the truth and he held that over you and he still does.
He made me see what wasn't working. He helped me realize that the way back wasn't to forget about Jamie, but remember him and then go on.
Don't you think maybe that would have been the time to tell me?
Oh, the pretense had gone on too long. How could I come to you after all that time and not expect you to hate me?
It came out anyway, didn't it? Despite your best efforts. So how do you feel now?
I'm not sure. There's no big surge of relief.
Well, do you think maybe that's because you haven't told me everything? Like about your affair with Leo Mitchell, or do you think that that just wasn't worth mentioning?
I don't want to think you're enjoying this. I really don't.
Oh, believe me, I'm not.
You sure? Seems like you've taken an awful lot of care to set up these little traps for me to fall into.
And unfortunately, you've fallen into each one.
At least I've tried to explain why I've kept my secrets, Ethan. I still haven't heard why you chose to keep yours.
No, that's fine, thank you. That's all I needed to know. All right, bye. Damn. It's just what I thought. I was hoping that I was wrong.
What?
My residency is supposed to be all set, right? So I knew that any changes had to come from an outside source.
Well, who would that be?
He works in Boston now. He used to be chief of surgery here. His name is Dr. Arthur Donnelly.
Heather's father?
The one and only.
Oh, no, wait a second. You're losing me. I thought that you said that the two of you didn't get along. Why would he recommend you for such a prestigious hospital? Yeah.
Yeah. Great way to get me out of the picture, isn't it? Heather doesn't have to worry about me staking a claim for the child because I'd never be able to see the child, only every few months. Did you really think that I wouldn't be able to figure this out? I gotta go talk to her. I'll see you later.
Boswell was very enlightening. He told me the district attorney stayed in his office all night long just to prepare himself in case you happened to step over a white line while the sign was flashing, don't walk. So if I were you, I would make sure that I don't break the speed limit. And do me a favor, don't park in a loading zone.
Or pass go or collect $200. Gotcha.
You're making light of this?
Only in an attempt to stay sane.
I don't care how you stay, just stay out of trouble, all right?
Don't worry, I'll keep my investigation very discreet.
What investigation?
Boswell and his crew aren't the only detectives in town. I know what to look for, and I'm damn well going to get started.
This is not my idea of lying low.
What am I supposed to do? Just sit around and wait for them to find something to make me look guilty? It's time for me to get off my butt and get out there and find something to prove that I'm not.
How?
For starters, I'm going to talk to everybody who was at the beach that night. I'm betting I have some questions to ask that the police have overlooked.
Well, just be careful. I will ask some questions on my own. Michael, you're innocent. Ethan's not going to change that.
Well, talk about moving up in the world.
You think so, huh?
Yeah, when would you leave?
Well, first I'd have to decide whether I'm going to take it.
Oh, I kind of thought that this was your way of letting me know that you already had decided.
Well, you and Daddy would be delirious if I did, right?
What?
I called Stevenson on the hospital board to find out who came up with the idea for the transfer. Apparently, he got a phone call just the other day from a former colleague.
What former colleague?
Oh, come on, Heather, give it up. You know damn well your father was behind this because you put him up to it.
Oh, my God. Is there anything that you don't think I'm capable of?
You know, I really got to hand it to you, Heather. I mean, you hit the one thing that would really tempt me, and you made it totally legitimate.
Like hell I did, Scott. I haven't talked to my father for 3 weeks. He's been in Europe, and for your information, the last time I talked to him, we didn't even mention your name.
What, are you expecting me to believe that this was purely spontaneous?
I don't care what you believe,
courtesy?
Scott. If you take a minute to think back, you remember that my father once told you that he thought you were the most promising surgeon he'd seen in a long
All right,
time.
Look, fine. If I'm wrong, I'm sorry.
I'm
all
sorry
right?
that my father wasted his time. I'll be more than happy to call him for you and tell him to rescind his offer.
Yeah, I think you should do that. Because I can't go to New York, Heather, not for the greatest job on earth. I'm not going to leave my child. Now, that should prove something to you, at least about my commitment.
It proved to me how stubborn you are, Scott, but I'm just as stubborn as you are. And I'm going to pursue my right for sole custody of my child, and I'm going to win.
Didn't we already talk about this, Michael? I mean, you know about the fog, the fact that you could hardly see anything that night.
Yeah, but you saw Heather.
Yes.
Or was that before or after the gunshot?
Oh, I don't know, Michael. Too confusing. All I know is that I just wanted to get the hell out of there, and I'm sure that Heather and Ethan felt the same way.
Who?
Well, they were both heading for the stairway. Not at the same time, different times, but they...
You said Ethan.
Yeah, I assumed he was down there trying to find his wife.
You didn't mention that before.
I didn't? I thought I did. I mean, I'm almost sure that that was Ethan.
All right, fine. You just keep it to yourself, all right? Unless somebody makes you raise your right hand and swear in a Bible. You don't mention Ethan Asher's name to another living soul.
Hi, Heather.
Julie, I told you before, I don't discuss the custody case without my lawyer present.
You don't need a lawyer if we're both on the same side. I came to talk about Michael.
You know, I didn't even know that he'd been arrested until just now. I hate being the last one to know that kind of stuff.
I'm going to make sure that that doesn't happen again. The district attorney wants him arrested. He's got a vendetta against him.
I know, and he has no right to zero in on him like that. He has no grounds at all. There were all kinds of people on the beach that night. He was here himself.
Who?
Ethan Asher. I saw him.
Thank God I caught you.
Why, do you want to search my luggage?
Megan, please, please forgive me. I should never have let Mason say those things to
No,
you.
you shouldn't have believed him.
I didn't believe. Don't you understand? Everything has gotten so confused because you shut me out. There's so much I don't know about you.
I have a private self, СиСи. It's part of who I am. I need more space than most people. That's why when you talk about marriage, I don't go rushing off to register a silver pattern. How can somebody like you, who needs to control everything and know everything, ever be happy with somebody like me?
By getting down on his knees and blessing his luck. I need you. I love you. I want you. You've got to let me prove it to you.
I don't know, СиСи.
Think about it while you're away, please.
All right, if you'll do something for me.
Anything you want.
Look out for Greg. He makes a big show of being able to deal with all of this, but he's just a child compared to Mason and Ted. Your child, no matter what anybody says to you.
Aren't you the same person who lectured me about my rights? You warned me not to let Scott's lawyers harass me until I got a lawyer of my own. I was really grateful for you to that.
What are you doing here?
You go ahead. You drag my brother down for questioning. You threatened to throw him in jail. What about his rights, Ethan? What happened to those?
Well, you don't know very much about this case, do you?
I know that my brother is not capable of taking a life.
Well, he has taken 2 lives that I know of, and one was an 8-year-old child.
Then you also know, Ethan, that that was an accident. Pat, I am really surprised at you. You're really letting this jealousy get the best of you, Ethan.
I am just trying to solve a murder.
Don't forget, Ethan, that I'm one of the few people who knows why Michael is your scapegoat in all of this. You still suspect them of the same thing, don't you?
How do you know I don't have just cause?
Because I know my brother. Ethan, even if there were something going on between your wife and my brother, that still does not give you any right to hang him for a crime that he didn't commit.
Well, a jury would do the hanging. I'm just trying to find a killer. Now, whether you like it or not, your brother had both motive and opportunity, and you cannot deny that he was down there that night.
Half of Santa Barbara was down there that night. I was down there that night. So were you.
Hello?
I've been trying to get you for half an hour.
I was just about to call you. You are never going to guess what I just found out from Celeste.
It's even half as interesting as what your sister told me. I'll pay money to hear it. Ethan was at the beach. What'd you say?
So that's true. Celeste was pretty sure, but she couldn't swear to it.
Heather had no reservations at all, yet Ethan has never admitted to being anywhere near there. Michael, this complicates things. I'm not sure exactly what it means to us yet, but we'll figure it out. Look, I will get back to you as soon as I can, okay? Take care of yourself. Bye-bye. Well, some interesting things are happening with Leo Mitchell. I don't know if it's good or bad for Michael, but we'll see.
What about Canfield and Browning and Shapiro and all those others you were whining about this morning?
What about them?
Well, they seem to have taken a back seat to Michael at the moment, so think about that the next time you start yelling at me about neglect.
Aye, aye, Captain. So, what happened with your father?
How did he get into this?
Last time I saw you, you were ushering him in here and everything seemed fine.
Yeah, I don't get it. Eden is the one who broaches the idea to him about Megan being a corporate spy, but when he gets all righteous about his lady love, who is the one he ends up berating?
Well, Eden wasn't around, Mason.
It doesn't matter, Julia. If she had been around, he still would have turned on me rather than raise his voice to the princess. I don't know why I even try.
Mason, you really shouldn't enter into sibling competition. Could be your undoing.
Thanks for understanding.
Talent night when we were seniors.
Yeah, Mark Feldstein won for dressing up as Dolly Parton and lip-syncing to a medley of country favorites.
What can I say? Our class never had much taste. But it's nice to hear you play again.
Well, I'm a little rusty. It's amazing how quickly you lose the touch when you don't practice anymore.
Well, I practice all the time. I thought this would be a good way for you to relax.
Yeah, too bad it didn't help today.
So what happened with Heather?
No, she denied that she had anything to do with calling her father about the transfer.
Do you believe her?
Yeah, I do. But it doesn't really matter. I'm not going to take it anyway. I'm going to stay right here. What? Why, did you really want to go to New York?
No, it's not New York so much as just someplace new.
What's wrong with right here?
Nothing. It's just that a lot of bad years after high school, you know, we've talked about it before, and sometimes I just wish we could go someplace and just start fresh.
Even if it meant that I wouldn't be able to get to know my child?
If you're trying to make me feel like a criminal, Scott, you're doing a great job.
Celeste, you know, I just wish that you'd make up your mind. A few weeks ago, you said that I want what you want, Scott. This child is worth fighting for. And even today, you bought this piano as a housewarming gift, and now you're hinting around that you wouldn't care if you ever saw this house again. Don't you think that's a little confusing?
Well, maybe I am confused, Scott. You know, I have no control, no legal rights to anything here, not to the baby, not to you. And yet this unborn child can control so many things about my life right now, you know? Sometimes it's just not the easiest thing to accept. And I wish you could understand that.
Where did you go?
I just got back from the office. It's the only place that I still know what's expected of me.
I'll put these away. I'm sorry. I don't even know if you want to hear this, but I'm really sorry.
My God. I don't even know how to hold you anymore.
I'm still the same person. I might not have told you some things, but I'm still the woman that you married.
Maybe I'm the one that's changed. There's a lot less of me to like now. I mean, the man who married you would never have set traps for you to fall into, and I did because I wanted to hurt you.
I know.
I want to go back, but, you know, if it's all been lies, is there really anything to save?
I guess I can't answer that.
I have to learn to trust you again. I think you understand that. And I think you have to learn to trust me again.
Yeah.
I don't know where to start. But I know that something has to change between you and Michael.
I was hoping that was you.
I gotta get my things together. I'm gonna be staying with a friend for a few days.
Give me a minute, will you? Come on, give me a minute. Your mother gave me a minute. She had less reason to do so than you did.
You got that right.
Look, I apologize as best I could. Things have really gotten out of hand here. My family's not at its best right now. You've got to understand what people feel like when they feel something is slipping away from them that they built up all these years.
That's how I felt when I first found out you were my father.
Touché.
Speaking of which, I made an appointment to have a blood test. Maybe I can have the results gift wrapped before they're delivered.
Oh, come on, you can't be serious.
Of course I'm serious. The kids want proof, and I'm going to give it to them.
You don't have to do that. This is their problem, not yours. They'll come around.
I don't give a damn whether they come around or not. I just want them off my back.
I've been worried about you all day.
I can't stay.
Come in.
I told Ethan that I'd forgotten something at the store, and I had to go back.
How did it go? Did you say everything you wanted to say to him?
He already knew it. Jamie, how he died. He even knew about my affair with Leo.
He what?
He was just waiting to see if I'd tell him myself. It wasn't easy to explain why I'd waited so long.
You were in pain. He should understand that. Maybe do I have to go talk to him?
No.
You know, you weren't trying to deceive anybody. You were trying to blot out something that was too painful for you to live with.
And
He should understand that.
I tried to say that, and he tried to understand. And I guess we're the blind leading the blind right now, but he seems to want to work things out. So I guess that's what we're going to do.
Why do I feel like I'm never going to see you again?
Well, you'll still see me. I mean, there's the work at school and
But it'll be different.
Some things will never be different. You were there when my child was born and when he died. You've watched me become the person I am. You know me in a way no one else may ever know me. I've loved you and I've hated you and I've loved you all over again. And now all I'm asking of you is that you let me say goodbye.
My emotions are eclipsed. One single kiss could take my breath away.
I'm Tom Brokaw. NBC News keeps you informed with an in-depth look at the people and events that touch your life. For the complete news picture, watch NBC Nightly News.